I know I've already said it a few times on this channel, but the Variable Action Heroes One Piece line has been one of my favorites to collect in recent times. I've finally collected all the Straw Hats they've released so far. Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Chopper, and Robin. So obviously the next Straw Hat they release has to be either Frankie or Brook, right? Nope. It's Luffy. This is the past blue, yellow version of Luffy from the Marineford arc. I had some issues with the original Luffy figure, so I'm hoping this guy can fix some of those problems and give us the solid Luffy figure we deserve. I'm still not too happy that they wasted a release on another Luffy figure, but whatever. Here he is out of the box, and the first thing I noticed was how ugly these colors look in person. The detail on the figure looks really nice and has some good shading on it, but the bright yellow vest and faded red jorts just really don't look good together. I guess that's not really a complaint about the figure, since he wore these clothes in the show. Like a few other figures I have, his hair is actually really spiky. Too spiky, I'd say, but I'll get more into that later. Everything on this figure feels really nice and tight, which is a step up from the original Luffy. Luffy 1.0 had very tiny elbows and knee joints that just felt like they would snap, and made him hard to, keep standing up. This Luffy feels like he'll be standing for quite a while. Most of his articulation works how it should without getting hindered at all. Until you get down to his legs. The legs and pant legs actually move independently, which looks nice and allows his legs to move nicely, but up top here, the legs don't go up as high as you'd want them to. They can move up higher than this, but it feels risky to push them any farther. Luffy, of course, comes with alternate faces. To swap faces, you pop off his head, remove the bangs, pull out the faceplate, pop a new one in, put the other pieces back on. Here's where the spiky hair is a problem. When popping a lot of these pieces back on, and specifically when putting the head back on, the spiky hair can really prick your fingers. I've had this problem a lot with a lot of Dragon Ball figures, and yeah, I should have clarified that this was a first world problem. Oh, my life is ruined because my thumb hurts when playing with anime toys. His first alternate face is a bit angrier than his initial face. This looks good and is very expressive, and the likeness is definitely there. As this figure is based on his Marineford design, you could definitely use this for a lot of poses. The next face is my favorite of the batch, and shows Luffy with his eyes closed and a big ol' smile on his face. This one most represents Luffy's personality and will probably be the one that I display him with. Luffy comes with a hat to place around his neck, which is easy to put on and take off. During Marineford, Luffy didn't really wear his hat at all, so if you want to be accurate to the arc, this is how you should display him. But, of course, he comes with a hat to place on his head as well. To get this hat off, you have to pop his bangs off, remove the faceplate, take this little piece that plugs into the neck and place that into this alternate hair piece that allows his hat to be worn. This is a kind of convoluted way to do this. You should only have to swap head pieces that you'll be using instead of having to switch this peg out. I think having the option to remove the hat always makes it look huge on the figure's head. I'd rather them sculpt a new head that has the hat attached to it, so it doesn't look this large. Luffy comes with 2 pairs of open palm hands, which look good for these kinds of poses, but don't have a whole lot of other uses. I guess you can use them when recreating the scene where Luffy hugs Hancock, but without 2 stands, these figures probably aren't going to stand up too well. His final accessory is this bit of meat and 2 gripping hands. What you do here is pull out the bone, slide it into Luffy's gripping hand, and then place the meat back in. This is a fun little accessory for him to have since Luffy loves meat so much, but I just wish it came with more stuff, which is a criticism I had about the original Luffy figure as well. Even the crappy SH Figure Arts Luffy came with an alternate arm to showcase his powers, so I wish we can get something like that for one of these. One of the poses I wanted to get the figure into the most was this one next to Whitebeard to recreate the scene from the show. I couldn't get it quite right, but this looks close enough. This figure looks best next to other characters from the Marineford arc like Whitebeard or his brother Ace. and I've already found myself having a lot of fun posing him. And finally, here he is next to the old Luffy. It's kind of funny, you can see that this new figure is taller than the old one, even though it's supposed to be a 2 years younger version. The comparison between the two figures is almost exactly what I expected. The original figure pops out better due to the classic color scheme, but the new one feels way better in terms of how it was made, has more sturdy articulation and doesn't feel like it's going to fall over all the time. So all in all, this figure didn't completely blow me away, but it's for sure a very solid Luffy figure that's made better than the original, but doesn't look as exciting and doesn't come with very amazing accessories. As I've said before, he looks best when posed with the other characters from the Marineford arc. Despite not being too hot on this figure, I am still very excited for the next couple of releases in this series like Shanks, Pre-Time Skip Zoro, and Perona, and I'm still definitely holding out for a Brook or Frankie. I would recommend this figure to people who missed out on the original Luffy or weren't blown away by it, but I can't say that this is Megahouse's best work.